this and hit copy and it won't work. So you just do Control C and then you go to the page you want to paste it to, and then you go Control Alt T and then you right click there, paste it, and then it all comes up, right? And then you just fucking cut and paste the whole lot. Or you just go you just go highlight it, you go Control C, not quite. Oh, they want me to do a survey again. Please help us improve a survey. Okay, so let's do a survey. I always like to accommodate people who help me out. Alright, so here we go. So, we going? There we go, I'm sorry. I was having a bit of fun. So here we go. So, this is the bankruptcy of 1933 of the United States, right? So, why is that important? Because the entity calling itself the Australian government, not the Commonwealth of Australia, not the Parliament of the Commonwealth of Australia, but the Australian government. Documents relating to the registration of SEC with the Australian government is privately owned American company. Attached to documents released under freedom of information request, seeking access to all documents that confirm the following: registration with the SEC, Australian Government, Commonwealth of Australia is a privately owned American company. File 333-163307 CIK 0000805157. Geez, I can read a lot better when I'm during fucking normal hours. What time is it? Shit, it's 11 o'clock. Alright, so this entity is registered to the SEC. Let's see what happens when you register to the SEC. When you register to the SEC, you're registering to the United States. And a vessel of the United States is, the term vessel of the United States, as used in this title, means a vessel belonging in whole or in part. So a little bit or a lot. Or any citizen thereof, or any corporation. What? Citizen? A vessel? What? Corporation? A vessel? Created by or under the laws of the United States, or any state, territory, district, or possession thereof. The reason why they say that is because it's Lex Mercatoria. They're saying there's no earth, right? And they've made you the land. They literally made you the land. Well, if we can't occupy the land, because that's what it says in the good book, and these are the money lenders in the temple, right? They're not the chosen one. They're not fucking, they're building Israel. No, we are fucking Israel. And what essentially, when they say they're building Israel, they're constructing us. They're turning us into Autobots. Right, so kids will love it, but you won't, because I've got metal in my fucking hand, and whenever I'm near any electrical source, it drives me nuts. Mate of mine, he's a welder. He was always wrapping the lead around his arm, and he has fucking, his arm rots. Yeah, I've already helped you out. Fuck yeah. His arm, he's a living, walking man with a rotting arm, because he wraps the positive lead around his fucking arm when he strikes that electrode, and he runs 4mm rods. So, for the purposes of the bankruptcy, for the purposes of the Commonwealth of Australia, reached the SEC, United States means a corporation, and a federal corporation. So I'll pause it there. Okay. Now, this is the treaty between the founding fathers of an independent country and His Manic Majesty, His Britannic Majesty, His Manic Britannic Majesty, His Britannic Majesty, on 3rd of September 3rd, 1973. So you have Hartley, Adams, Franklin, and John Jay. Traitorous motherfuckers. Fork-tongued motherfuckers. Definitive treaty. So what happens when you give a treat to someone? Oh, thanks very much, mate. How much, mate? Oh, it's a treat. Have it. You can just take it. No, just fucking take it. Go away. You're annoying me. You're annoying. Stop talking. Just fuck off. You're annoying me. Go away. Take it. That's what a treat is. And when you put a Y on the end of a word, it means the consistency of. Alright, so when you look at the word run, and you put a Y on the end of it, it means the consistency of, it's runny, it's going everywhere. Come here, stop running around. It's the consistency of. Okay, so if you don't know your prefixes and suffixes are, you don't know what the fucking word means. Now, if you don't know what the word peace means, the word peace in Phoenician means sin. Okay, so the Masada, and I've got to read this guy's book where he talks about the galvanic and the and James, the brother of Jesus. But he basically, it kind of falls in with the word, they would rather die than sign up with Rome. And the word peace in Gaelic means sin. Right, so in the name of most holy, separate, so in Hebrew that's separate, God. So un means no, di means God, vi means force, d means the doorway to, and ed means past tense. So no God, force, doorway to past tense. So what's that? Oh, who knows? In the name of most separate and undivided Trinity, what's it? Having pleased the divine providence to dispose. Pose is to pose an idea. I want to pose this idea to you, so put the force of the I in your mind. To pose the hearts of the most serene and most potent Prince George III by the grace, G's return, and there you have a race, yeah? By the grace, it's code, right? So by thee, I love thee, thine is the kingdom of, thine means your, thee is you, right? The return, G is return, and there you have race. The returning race of God, and there he is there, Enki. Key of Great Britain, keys to the city, France, Ireland, defender of the faith, Duke, that's the head of Brunswick, and Lüneburg, arch treasurer, that means receiver, and Prince Elector, prize first snake return man of the Holy Roman Empire, NC. So the Holy Roman Empire, NC, right? So what's ANC? A corporation. So it's the Holy. Is a separate Roman Empire, a company and corporation. That's what it says there. So the Holy Roman Empire corporation, and of the United States of America, also, which is also a corporation, which is a subset of this corporation. Because remember, corporations can create corporations. Right? Prince equals the prince. So the is the, and prince is there. So anyway, you get that. Not a citizen, not a member of a body politic, not a king, but a keeper of laws. He is not regular. He is not regulans. Right. So rule of law comes from regula, as in regulation, and it means straight stick. Yeah. So he's not the ruler. He is a social creature, one who must buy and sell, promise, contract, and dispose of you. The king, accordingly, in England, that's why they call the currency is really you. The currency is you. It's not the money. The currency is you. Car is a bastard. Entity is what we are, and that's what they are. And sea is a sea of mankind, and they're the sea of shit. Right? So king, accordingly, in England, is a corporation. Jeez, I wish I could read right one day. So the king, I've got to stop being an idiot. The king, accordingly, in England is a corporation. So also, that's an S, by very respectful author Shepherd in his abridgment, is Parliament itself. Right? So Parliament is a corporation, Arch Treasurer is commercial companies, right? So getting back to this now, so the king is just a corporation. Right, you know what king is? This is a corporation. It's a vessel of. Where is the SEC? Where the SEC go? Damn it! Oh no, hang on. Sorry, I've got the SEC here. Sorry. So this right here. Can't remember what I'm doing the clip. I'm waffling so much. Which is the Federalist Corporation. Citizen Corporation, Territory District, they're all corporations. So why would this have anything to do with us? Because if you are a citizen, a corporation, territory, state, and you're registered to this, right? You're registered to this entity here, and this entity here is registered to this entity here, and this entity here is nothing but one of these, then you've lost all your public property. You haven't. It's all based on fraud, right? So what America's doing is they took over your schools back in the 1910s, 1915, something like that. I've got to look into it. It's one thing I've got to look into, right? Because it's always good to have the story. And they changed the private schools that were run by each community, and they called you public. They called you public. Almost lost it there for a second. How's that? So they called you public. So we look at 9. There we go. 11. So go to new ID. And we'll tax collected sinners. We'll grab that. We'll go over here. Because I like helping people out. Paste. Whoa, look at the size of it. My God, it's huge. Had an Asian bird say it to me once. And we'll do it one more time. The old girl belches like a fucking seasoned beer drinker. Alright, public. Public means sinner and tax collector. Read below your scripture. Bom, bom, bom. It's a bit big, but it looks good. Right, so that's it. What they did. Public means. I look like an arsehole, right? One. Oh, they're going all out today. It was 4. It was like 8. Right, it's all right. She subscribed to me about 10 minutes ago anyway, so hopefully she'll understand. I'll send her a message. Pig Prairie. Let's see, it might load now. Look at that. Anyway, so here we go. So yeah, so I'll use that right there. So up all over the place this afternoon. Had a pot full of baked beans, custom made. Public means sinner, tax collector. Okay, so when the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, "Why does your teacher sit with tax collectors and sinners?" Right, and when the Pharisees saw this, they said unto his disciples, "Why eateth your master with publicans and sinners?" Now this is more accurate to how they would speak. Why eateth your master with publicans and sinners? Okay, so they came in and they stole the. I've been told this by Nori this much. They came in and they seized burst marriages, all the utilities, and this is the Bar Association, the British Accredited Registry of Law, and they did it through. Who do they do it through? They did it through the Parliament, through the Esquires, through the Freemasons. They created the Judicature Act, right, 1903. Right, I'm getting there. I just want to write this. So what they do is they run the Jews through SAS. They run the Jews through hang on, I'll just High Court of Australia. And they get them to do the courses, and then they have them going around because they've got them brainwashed, murdering everyone, even though the Tauruses don't kill. Right, so although High Court of Australia was established in 1901, it says don't kill. They took James out of the Bible, and remember James and Yeshua were both Emus. They took them out of their Scripture, and the Pharisees took over. And then when they got rid of James and they got rid of Enoch, suddenly anti-Semitism came in, and most of the people that who call themselves Jewish today got no ties to any of the bloodlines, and the ones that are doing all the dirty work are actually more closely related to us because they don't have giant fucking ears and fucking porch veranda style fucking noses. Although the High Court of Australia was established in 1901, Section 71 of the Constitution, by Section 71 of the Constitution, the appointment of the first bench had to await the passage of the Judiciary Act 1903. Right, so the first bank, right? If you look up bank, it's the full bench of the court. Okay, and what do they call the court? The first sitting of the High Court took place in the Banco Court of the Supreme Court building in Melbourne because they didn't have the ACT built yet, I suppose. So now let's go back to this. So it's all about banking. They put us into bankruptcy through the Judiciary Act, and I'll just rewrite the word judiciary. Judiciaic. All I did was put in the letter A, Judaic. I'll just double this up. Alright. Now, me being Irish, no one can call me a racist because we went through 800 years of fucking shit off these cunts, or off cunts in general, so we get away with a lot of shit too. Judaic. Judaic. I can even give a black fella a hard time. Judaic. Judaic. And when they get stuck into me, I just pull the Irish card. Anyway. Judaic. Where is it? Judaic. AIC. Related to Judaism. Yeah, so Judaic, and then just take the A out. Judiciary. Judiciary. Yeah, so there you go. So this is the money changes in the temple. Right, so when you go in court, you're going in there as a debtor. It's a debt court. The prisons are debt prisons, right? So they infected your speech. Now, if you look at all the Bibles around, there's a guy called Pastor Anderson in America. I'll see if I can find him. So you got Pastor Anderson in America. I like this one. I'll probably watch it again. Pastor Anderson in America. And apparently the only accurate Bibles are the Ethiopian one, because it has the Book of Enoch, it's untouched, and also the Eastern European. So pretty much the Russian Orthodox, Greek Orthodox are the only accurate ones for a lot of stuff. And obviously it's rewritten. And this guy's got some good stuff. He exposes Auschwitz, all the fraud, the anti-Semitism. He's the same as me. He's got a Jewish grandmother. I don't. I've got a mother who's tribe of Judah, so it's a bloodline rather than a fucking a belief system. And it all comes from the same fucking root anyway. But essentially, he's really good, right? He's got a doco about the, I can't remember. It goes for an hour. It's a really good documentary. Even if you don't like 90% of the content, he's just got some really good verifiable facts. So now let's come back to this. The Bankruptcy 1933. State of Emergency, War Powers, Trading with the Enemy Act. Because when America went into war, now think about all your politicians, they're all Jews. So they want your country to go to war. And when your country goes to war, somebody loses. So someone gets into debt and they're doing the bidding of their masters. So when they go to war, America went into debt. America, they should have said, we only have enough money to go to war for 3 years. So we need everyone to pitch in and get the war over in 3 years, or we only have enough money for war for 3 years, and then we've got to get into debt for 3 years, and we have to focus on paying off that debt. And Finland for like 40 years had trains of food and materials going out of Finland, and they starved for 40 years, and so they paid off the debt. That's why I've been told that's why the Finnish people aren't getting fucked with. So, but they're rolling out 5G. They're actually developing it. So that just tells you another thing. So all governments are Jews, like in Iceland. When they marched them out of Iceland, they didn't look like Icelandic people, right? So if we come back to here, Iceland, Parliament. take over. So none of the politicians look like they were from Iceland. They just look like these big cauliflower, fucked up nose looking assholes. Right, and so I'll just find it. And if you got big ears and you just like me, fucking, just a shit kicker, nothing to do with this shit, I apologise, but if you're gonna take offence, then fucking build a bridge. See, they don't want to show their face because they're all. Now he looks like an Icelander, nice and tall. These guys are all fucking 5 feet tall. But then you see his fucking ears and his nose, right? Seriously, like these people are 5 feet tall. Icelanders are tall people. They're tall, strong-looking people. They don't have like a hunch. They've got necks. They don't look like this. I mean, this is what's going on in Australia. The reason why they've drugged the fuck out of Australia with meth and ice, and meth was developed by Germany, then perfected by Japan, then given to soldiers here in Australia for the military. SA soldiers, pilots were given it so they wouldn't fucking wig out. Drugged to the fucking hell. You had Aussie soldiers in World War II in hand-to-hand combat holding off 30,000 Germans, right? The Rats of Tobruk. Go and look them up. You had Johnny Turk 10-1. They had us on the banks. We're fighting uphill, and we killed them 10-1, right? 10-1, and they had the advantage. They had the high ground. They had everything. They lost 10-1, and you've got these dead spine that the fuckers going around threatening people, manipulating them, getting their own people to fucking target their own people. Right, with private Federal Reserve notes. What's this? This is fucking Egypt. This is out of Egypt, right? I've already shown you. This is Egyptian, right? All these people are under a form of mind control. All these people have lost everything. The guy running the biggest bank in Iceland lost $1.5 billion, crashed his bank, and got into debt for about $2 billion. How does that even happen, right? And so then what happens is, somehow, he makes $700 million. How did he make $700 million but lost $3.5 billion for his bank? Then the German bankers come from Germany, right? So now the bank's bankrupt, right? They come in, they claim all the assets, right? They're building whatever. And then what happens is, the German bankers turn around to Iceland and say, we want you to pay back $2 billion. Now you got to remember that the guy they threw in jail, they threw them in jail. They threw them all in fucking jail. The guy ain't spending his $700 million. So then the Germans turn up in Iceland and say, we want our $2 billion. And then there's an Irish journalist standing there, and he turns around, I love him, I just love people who, it feeds me. And he says, if the bank is a company and the company went bankrupt, because remember, even these countries are fucking corporations, right? Even the corporations. A corporation is a district, is a territory, is a state. It's a condition of state of the mind. This shit needs to get wiped from the face of the earth, right? So you've got a company that's insolvent, bankrupt, it's got no assets. They've seized it all. Now the Germans are saying to Iceland, so the Germans are here going, yeah, we're owed some money, and they're saying, Iceland, well, you have to pay us $2 billion. And then the whole of Iceland is standing there with their thumb up their ass, sucking their big toe, right? Got their thumb up their ass, sucking their big toe, huddled in the corner, And this grey-haired old Irishman stands up and says, "You guys are bankrupt. You're a corporation. You're the receivers. You've come in. You've claimed the corporation. You've got it. You've spent. You've gotten everything you can get out of it. Why do you want the companies no more? Why do you want this country to pay you because this corporation's gone bankrupt? I mean, if the guy in the streets company goes bankrupt, does the government have to bail him out and give him back all the money he's lost?" And the guy basically said, can you cite any kind of legislation or any kind of case law that provides where a country has to pay back a private bank in Germany, which is really operating out of Switzerland, a private bank in Germany, why they have to pay back a private bank in Germany? And all of the fucking bankers just got up and walked out of the room. Checkmate. They don't. All your governments have been taken over by Jews, the judiciary, right? And they bribe and bankrupt these people because they don't know the language. And when they do, I'll tell you what happened. 25, I'll see if I can find it, 25 bankers committed suicide in 1 year in New York. 25... all young bankers just qualified. No. The jumpers of 29. No. No, can't find it. Anyway, there was like something like 25 suicide near post. Worldwide suicide deaths, 23 spotted, Friday blood, Memorial colleague suicide. Anyway, so it was all, and they're all bankers. 24 bankers, Federal Reserve System study, no. Another Deutsche Bank executive commits suicide. When was this, 2014? Now, basically, they're knocking them off. So if I go to AFP, police commit suicide. Fifth member dies. So Mossad and the Jews within government, the judiciary, going around knocking them off. I won't go over the whole document, but you can have a look here, right? There was like 3 suicides inside the inside AFP buildings with their own revolvers. One was a suicide in a. There weren't suicides. One was murdered inside a hotel, and she apparently wrote an email, and that's considered a suicide note. It's not. If she didn't write it in handwriting, she didn't sign it. It's not a suicide note. You hold the woman down, you torture her, you get her to open up her email address, and then you murder her, and then fucking MI5, MI6 specialise in killing people and making it look like not like suicide, and it's not fucking hard. You just grab someone by the hand, hold their hands, hold them by the hair, restrict them, and use pressure. Right, you don't need to burst any blood vessels in the skin. So go and look this up. You can see all the AFPs. I think this is the one who allegedly committed suicide in a building, in a hotel. But you got superintendents doing it, you got sergeants doing it, and it's because of this kind of stuff that's going on. Right, I've had a 3-man crew follow me from halfway at my place to. They met me at Glenmore Park Shops. They were just sitting down trying to look casual at 10 minutes before closing time, laying down on the lounge inside Glenmore Park Shops at Coles there. It was the most bizarre thing I've ever seen in my life. I go and get my stuff, then I come out and I get down across the park, and they're walking against me. So now they're coming against me about half a kilometre away. And I had a good sized knife on me, like 40cm knife on me, and I had a nice little pea shooter in my bag as well. So, and I stood down and fucking eyeballed the cunts and started walking towards them, and they just fucked off, right? This is when I had a guy, another Special Forces soldier, at the front of the house, and he was just walking up and down pretending he's talking on his phone because the dog was starting to go. Me and the dog have a little system going. He makes enough noise to let me know someone's at the front, so I went out the front, and basically after I got pricked in the head, so I had a good sized sword in my hand, and I ran across the grass, got within 5 metres of him and said, "Look mate, I don't want to stab you, so fuck off now." He didn't get upset, he just maintained eye contact, he had his hand in his bag the whole fucking time. I said, "I know what you do, I know what you got, fuck off now or I'm going to stab you," right? So this is what goes on, and what he was doing is, he was trying to data mine what phones are registering here, and he was trying to get the PC ID, right? So PCs have like an IMEI number, phones have IMEI numbers, and because technically your PCs now are mobile phones, and he was trying to data mine the IMEI numbers of my phones, which they're all inside. They've got them anyway, but I keep them inside chip packets. Get 6 chip packets, put them inside, all inside each other, wrap them up, and they can't track you. They're actually tracking you through your stereo in your car. You need to rip your stereo out, get rid of Bluetooth. And yeah, so let's get back to this. I'll do this document now, just close the door. So here it is. This is I hope I've explained what's going on. This is bankruptcy of US 1933, state of emergency, war powers, trading with the Enemy Act. So what they did was they created this alternate language. You don't know it, and they're affecting you. They're harming you by getting you to contract as a particular type of entity, a slave. Bankruptcy of the United States of America. Declared United States went bankrupt in 1933. A very Masonic number. It's also 33 vertebrae on your back, 33 years of Christ, 33 years taken off the solar calendar. 33 years, actually, sorry, let me correct that. It's 33 years and 9 months removed from the calendar. Look up Kurt Kallenbach, 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 I can't pronounce it, Kallenbach, off Facebook or YouTube. And so they took 33 years and 9 months off the solar calendar. I don't know what you call it, Julian or Gregorian, I can't remember now, I get it mixed up. President Roosevelt, Executive Orders 6073, 61, right. 1950, declared bankruptcy and reorganisation. Secretary of the Treasury appointed receiver of the bankruptcy reorganisation, right? So this is public law. So they're seizing all the public assets. And then what they did was they took over the schools. Every town had their own school, right? They had a school teacher. And so then what they did was they reclassified it into a public school, so that way they could seize the kids. And then they created birth, deaths and marriages, right? And they made that public as well. So you got to take yourself out of the Egyptian Book of the Dead, right? So the Secretary of the Treasury is the governor of the International Monetary Fund. So the Secretary of the Treasury is appointed as receiver, and the Secretary of the Treasury is also the governor of the International Monetary Fund, Incorporated, of the United Nations. So the United Nations is saying it's the receiver. Okay, so so the receiver is the International Monetary Fund, Incorporated, of the United Nations. So the International Monetary Fund is a creation of the United Nations. So the United Nations is claiming itself to be creditor. The United Nations used to be the League of Nations, which goes back to the I think it's the Council of 300. Right, so it's privately owned, right? So government manual, yada yada, Treasury, so it's public law 94-564, super page 5942, US government manual, 1990, 99 pages, 408 to 481, 26 USCA 707, subsection A, subsection 11, Treasury delegation order number 150-10. Okay, so now you know that the Secretary of Treasury is the receiver for the International Monetary Fund, Incorporated, of the United Nations. So the United Nations is the creditor, the International Monetary Fund is the receiver, and this is a private entity. Okay, you waste your time appealing to the United Nations, but what you can do is they're forcing you to contract with the United States, which puts you under the bankruptcy, and you also fall under a classification of public. And by them forcing you to do that, they're actually committing a war crime. It's because it's human rights violations, child trafficking, because the birth certificate is a child. It says child on there. Child means an estate. It's dead, right? CHILD is phonetic for killed, right? It's dead. It's not. It's a non-living entity. It's an estate, and they're forcing you to trade with it. They write your name in all capital letters. They trick you into thinking that's you, and then they get you to sign it and answer to it, which is again it's slavery. So on October 28, 1977, the United States as a corporatio. So corporator, misspoke. So United States as a corporator. So a corporator, if you get a corporation aggregate, and so corporation sole is one in charge, and then their heir inherits the whole lot. A corporation aggregate is where, say for example, Australia, everyone is the aggregate. So we all become the sovereigns. We're all equal shareholders. And so the United States is a member, a corporator is a shareholder of a larger entity, which would be the federal. Okay, so on October, it's creation of the federal. So on October 28, 1977, the United States is a corporator and a state, which is both vessels, right? They're and members, citizens, declared insolvency, right? So 1977, right? But here it's got 1950, they declared bankruptcy. So what they do is they keep going to war on drugs, war on terror, and they keep the administrator keeps faking a war and keeps creating laws for the public, which they're not the public, they're the private. And so they keep faking these wars to essentially keep creating a bankruptcy. So declared bankruptcy and reorganisation 1950. Secretary of Treasury, Governor, International Monetary Fund, I already said that. So 1977, the United States as a corporator and a state declared insolvency. Again, the state banks, most other banks, were put under control of the governor of the fund of the IMF. So the IMF is of the United Nations. So then the International Monetary Fund is administrating a bankruptcy of the United States on behalf of the United Nations. Right. So that's why the UN comes in. Now, how do they get Australia involved? Well, Bob Hawke and the judiciary in 1975, and Howard and all those arseholes created a bankruptcy, or they signed us up. They shut down Parliament. They didn't open it up again. They created the kangaroo and it was already there, but they then employed the kangaroo and emu, the new Parliament House, and then they registered that to the SEC. Well, actually, it was registered in 1933 from memory. From memory, it was registered to the SEC in 1933. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mr. Speaker, we are here now, Chapter 11, bankruptcy. Right, members of the Congress are official trustees presiding over the greatest reorganisation of any bankruptcy entity in the world history, the United States government. Mr. Trafficant, probably the first time that word was used. Mr. Trafficant from Ohio, Congressional Record, March 1793, United States Obligation, International Money Fund, yada yada yada, State of Emergency Declaration. So this is the catch, right? This is the state of emergency, the floods, which they engineer through weather modification, because the CSIRO here in Australia has got patents for weather modification to make it rain since 1941. And there are over 350 weather modification patents that I've seen. There are as many as 1,200. And so by creating disasters, they keep creating state of emergency. Since March 1933, the United States has been in a state of declared national emergency. So 33 to 73, when Congress declares an emergency, there is no constitution. So when Congress declares an emergency, there is no constitution. Right? Congressman Beck, Congressional Record, Farm Bill 1933. So there is no constitution because there is a bankruptcy, but only if you are the public. This only applies to you if you are the public. Right? This only applies to you if you are the public. And are you the public? Let's go here. Right? Are you the public? Read your scripture. Right? When the Pharisees saw this, they asked his disciples, why does your teacher eat with tax collectors and sinners? So what's a tax collector? Let's go to an earlier model, because this is owned by Rupert Murdoch, and he also owns the Satanic Bible, told to me by a Freemason, part of the Rifle Club, who was supposed to come here and handle me or have me murdered. Right? And when the Pharisees saw it, they said unto the disciples, why eateth your master with publicans? So a publican is a tax collector and a sinner. So you're not the public, are you? Okay? So so state of emergency, 1933. So this is beautiful. When Congress declares an emergency, there is no constitution because they've got to deal with the emergency, right? A majority of people in the United States, because people is person, is a citizen, is a corporation. The majority of corporations of the United States have lived all of their lives under emergency rule. For 40 years, freedom of government procedures guaranteed by a constitution have, in varying degrees, been abridged. Right? How do I put it? Have been broken. Yeah. So bridged is, I'm mixing the words up. And varying degrees have been set aside by laws brought into force by states of national emergency. Right? There is no national emergency because the banks staged the fraud to get us into this situation, which is all based on fiction. Right? The president may seize property, organise commodities, assign military forces abroad, institute martial law, seize and control transportation, communication, regulation, operation of private enterprise, restrict travel, a plethora of particular ways. Control the lives of the American citizens because you're vessels of the United States, of the bankruptcy. You're not, right? USA currently permanent administration, emergency, Training with the Enemy Act 1917-1933. This is where it gets good. Notice you have been declared the enemy. In 1917, Training with the Enemy Act, this is all planned, right? Section 2, Subdivision C, Chapter 106, enemy defined other than citizens of the United States. March 1933, 106, Section 5, Subsection B of the Training with the Enemy Act of October 6, 1917, 40, Statement L 411, amended as follows. So, enemies amended as follows. Any person within the United States. See House Joint Resolution 1491, Public Number 1. Who really threatened the security of your homeland. There is no conspiracy to deprive you of your security. Your government will not protect you. Your money cannot protect you. There is. Your stored food and merchandise cannot protect you. Your doctor cannot protect you. Your lawyer cannot protect you. They all work for the bankruptcy. They're all registered to the bankruptcy. Even you are registered to the bankruptcy, but you're not you. Your relatives cannot protect you. Your media, your weapons, And so what happens is here it talks about God and everything else, right? So let's come back to this book was written 400 years ago, right? So this is written in 1611. So it was written, as people are saying the number now before I could even get it out. So 1920. So it's 409 years ago, right? 409 years ago this was written, and what this is copyright. Okay, and it says in the Bible, do not change one word of this. Do not change one letter or one word of this. Right? And what did the Jews do? The Jews came along and changed this because Rupert Murdoch is a Jew. He's a merchant from the temple. There are not supposed to be any merchants in the temple. There are not supposed to be any merchants in the temple. Almighty kicked them out, remember? Right, so publicans are not you. Right, under international law, the police, if you haven't committed a crime and you're not been combative with the occupying army, they can't go onto the property. They can't go onto the property. This bullshit about the implied right of access is an abridgment of international law that goes back to the Lieber Code, which is 1863 from memory, right? So 1863, 1863. Sorry, Lieber Code. Yeah, 1863 Lieber Code, right? This was used to create the Hague Conventions, and this is basically how kingdoms are broken up and sold off, and how they all make stupid amounts of money, right? So, I'm going to take a little bit of credit for this, but I'm the reason why they rolled out coronavirus, fucking whatever it is, COVID-19 early. It wasn't supposed to happen until after they had the infrastructure in. This was to stop us waking up because it was compounding. And they have computer modelling to show how fast we are waking up, right? How the 100th monkey can affect. And most of these people don't share my clips, right? It's a bit like, I'm putting up stuff that you can use, this is legit, and a lot of people aren't sharing it. If they spin it themselves, I don't care, but they're not sharing it, which is a bit of a fucking sad thing. A lot of people are watching it because I walk down the road now, and I get kids going, hey free man, hey free man. I was in Aldi the other day, and the Aldi workers, I just started talking, and he goes, you're a free man. And I don't have my face on my page, right? I don't have my face up. It's not about me putting my face up. It's not about me fucking publicity. It's not about fame. It's not none of that shit, right? It's about taking this fucking country back, right? You are warned in here. You were fucking warned. And I used to stand by and just look at, in some respect, kind of agree with the fucking merchants in the temple and think, what the fuck are these people doing? Right? People see me going off and then the cops turn up and the cops see me going off. Someone's just tried to kick me in the fucking head or try to hit me in the head with a ball peen hammer for talking. And they get me on site because they need my advice, and I give them the advice. And it's like, we're talking one in every fucking 400 customers, which isn't bad, right? Because I can be on, I can literally do 4 sites in a day. I used to make $1,000 a day, 4 sites, $250 a pop. To anyway, $250 to $325 a pop. So do 4 sites in a day, that was good. 3 sites was good, 2 sites was average. So I'd be on that many sites in a week, 6 days a week. Other times I'd be one customer for 3 weeks. So I guess what I'm trying to say is that, and then the cops, say, oh, you should be more. And I go, fuck off, idiot. The guy, I'm here to do a job. This guy, and they don't want to listen to facts. They don't want to leave the emotion out of it. They don't want to leave, and I don't swear at them straight away, but I try to tell them, there's like 7 lebs on site. 2 of them, one of them's got a broken back because the same fucker who tried it on me tried it on someone else. Then some Aussies turned up, mistook him for his brother and broke his back on site. That's what happened. This is in Mossman. So there's a poor fucking, he was a nice kid too, some poor leb cunt who's got a fuckwit for a cousin, got his back broken on site. He's got a bent spine because this guy fucked up some Aussie kid that was half his size. And so the Aussies came back and just fucking smashed these fucking lebs and broke his back. Anyway, and he's still pulling the same shit. And if I had 4 brothers, I would have flogged the fuck out of the cunt because it's not worth getting someone killed over. You fight like fuck when someone's crossed the line, but you don't do it when one of your fuckwit relatives have done it. They're starting shit. So effectively, you've been reclassified as an enemy, right? So because it's a bankruptcy, the administration has now turned on you. They were never there for fucking to help you, and if you think they are, then this is. If you think they are, then this is something. He's got to leave them up for a bit longer. So this is these guys engineered it, create a country, then we'll fucking go to war and bankrupt it, and then I've got control of the country, because there's no fucking way there's no way a king could take over an entire country, right? No way. Not free people, lots of food in their belly. And I take you back to I've got to take you back to Anzac, right? Can't talk about it, They took on 10 times their number. Uphill battle. They numbered, I think it was 9 or 11%. I think it was 11% of Allied forces in World War II, and they took 34% of the ground. Might not say that Anzac's still a thing. Anzac's involved. Number of soldiers, World War II. Right, number of soldiers, number of Australian soldiers. So that's 70 million, right? And about 70 million soldiers fought on behalf of the Allied or Axis countries. What the fuck? No, how many soldiers? No. Well, I know 60 million died in World War Two. No, anyway, so I know 60 million died in World War Two and 40 million died in World War One. Right, so it's 100 million. No, 60 million. An estimated 78 million, which is about 3% of the 1940 world population, 2.3 billion. Fuck, all that, and it should say total number in the war, total number died. You know, it's that easy, but these guys have to waffle. 50 to 60 million people, directly caused by war, including military and civilians killed, 50 to 60 million people. Additional estimated, oh fuck. You can read this for 10 hours and you'd be like, what the fuck, where are the numbers, right? So as far as I know, there was 100 million died in World War Two. Let's say 100 million. How many Aussie soldiers in World War Two? Anzac, sorry. I didn't ask for fatalities. Anyway, trying to get statistics off Google now. It's just how many people died in Anzac, how many soldiers were killed with the anyway, so they basically they took towns that the Yanks hadn't been able to take for 3 months, and they went in and took it in a weekend. They took French towns that the British couldn't take for months. They were losing ground, and they went in and took it in a week. And Hitler turned around and said, if I could have Aussie soldiers, American resupply, and German ability to follow orders. And that's where Hitler completely failed to see the reason why the Aussie soldiers are so good was because they did it their way. They're given a task, given orders what to do, and they spun it to make it work, right? And we're asleep at the fucking wheel, and it's still my fucking head in. And I'm getting sick of reading this fucking shit and just fucking talking to idiots on the street, getting shadow blocked, no one's seeing this stuff. And all these people are standing there because there's an imaginary wall. Their lives have been destroyed, their business has been destroyed, their sons and daughters are getting fucked by these grubs. Their sons and daughters are getting bloodletted and fucking, and there's an imaginary wall there. There's an imaginary wall there. You've been gentilized, yeah. You've been turned into Gentiles. Well, here's his tie. This is his neck noose. This is his collar. These are his cuffs, right? This is his pants because he pants like a dog and he's been shoed like a fucking animal, right? These people are animals, right? And until you fucking wake up and see that these people are fucking animals, then nothing's going to wake you up. I mean, what's a husband and wife doing in fucking Parliament? Isn't this Parliament? This is fucking nepotism, right? Judges and... This is on the seat of Pharaoh, and then he had his ship, and then there's got this checker here, the triple checker, and you had mankind holding up this checker, and then Pharaoh is riding on top. Right? And these fuckwits are orchestrating the bankruptcy of their own people, and they think they're doing the right thing. And 90% of them know they're working for a bank, right? And it's just Switzerland. It's one fucking country with a couple of million assassins, right? Now remember, a court is a bank, right? Court of International Settlement. Sorry, Bank of International Settlement. I always mix it up. Buy and sell Switzerland, yeah? Old mate Swiss Beast called it Isusland, anyway, something like that. So there it is. These are the arseholes funding all the wars, right? They supply the that's the Swiss Guard. So here's the clown. Here's your clown suit. This is Pharaoh's colour. Right? This is the blue and the gold from Pharaoh. This is the red bloodline. Yeah. This is a spear. This is used for a spear ritual. They speared Yeshua high on the cross. It was a high level spear ritual. This is the red. This is the primary bloodline of the Southern Kingdom. This is the navy. This is the gold. Right, they got the white there and the gloves. This gloves is the lower claim. They supply the guards to the Vatican. The Vatican is the bank. The Vatican is the central mind control, resonating. You know, they you know, it's all resonance. It's all frequency. You know, you got they created music, mutilate, it's Latin, right? Mucus, murder, and they want to make you sick. Yeah, they want to get control. I know sick means something different in Latin, but anyway. And here is their box is in the shape of a coffin, right? This box is the shape of a coffin, right? I'll get a better one. And you know about the Ark of the Covenant, and you have to ask yourself why all these suits of armour went all the way to the ground. They were earthed out. The bottom of the suit of armour was steel. The whole thing was steel. There was no part on the suit of armour. So they effectively used the Ark of the Covenant to stun everyone, and then they went through in their metal suits and they just killed everyone. You don't have to believe me. You know, there's a picture of a car. It got blown up, and it didn't fly apart. It got squashed and bounced like that. It went and bounced, and the light came from above, just like a car coming up the road at night, and it gets brighter and brighter and brighter. And I slowed the footage down to 1/4 the speed on YouTube, and the light came from above, and then there was a total flash, total blackout of light, and then the car got squashed, bang, it bounced, and the axles, the drive shaft, the engine was all intact, the rims are still there, and there's never been a bomb that's been that big that has left those parts intact, because it's inside. It creates a vapor lock, expands out, and sudden release of power. It was a particle accelerator, and this is back in the 80s, right? So there's even when the French and Russians were fighting way back when, there's stories of blinding light coming from the skies, and cities were just fucking disintegrating. Sodom and Gomorrah has a radioactive footprint, right? Sodom and Gomorrah, the city, still today has an abnormal footprint, and from the sky you can see a blacked out region. So I'm just trying to find they stand inside their box. There you go. That's it there. But from the front, it's a coffin. You can see it's got the same taper on the top, and that's pretty much it. So when you see this kind of stuff where these people are saying, like a mother and child was pretty much bashed while they were playing in a park. The kids were traumatised by the police, and I'm happy to say I left some comments, and I'm having a positive impact. And I'll just reset it. And these guys are trying to reason with these guys. Most of these guys are Freemasons. They've got Freemason iconography everywhere, and they know they're enforcing a bankruptcy. Right, so this is her, Pink Prairie. I left some comments, and she subbed. So effectively, I'll just play this for a second. You can see what's going on.
Oh God! Are you serious?
So all these people turned up. I don't know if they were to serve documents or just to give them a serve, but they turned up at this copper's home to give him a hard time because they brutalised and terrified a young girl, some kids, a mother and kids playing in the park. Right? This is based on fraud because the mother and the daughter are not public. Public means a utility. It means a tax collector. It means someone employed by the state. That's why they call you Mr. Mr. in their Styles Manual, page 516, clearly states this is the Styles Manual of this entity, right? This entity bearing this symbol in 2006. Mr., Miss, MISS, and MRS, Mr., Mrs., Miss, and MISS are all ranks of sub-lieutenants, lieutenants, Army, Navy, Air Force. Right? Australian Army. Right? You are not a Mr. or Miss. Miss, I missed the target. It's a negative state. Missed her means no earth, okay? I missed it. Mistake. I didn't hit the peg. I mistake. I missed the stake is where it comes from. Right? So missed her is saying there's no one here, so they're coming in and claiming the earth. If you keep acknowledging yourself as missed her, you're letting them claim the earth. Right? Executor, I'll go to the Kemetic alphabet, right? So I'm not going too fast, I'm not giving too much. Kemetic alphabet. Now, Kemetic, no energy of man, the sea energy man, mark intent of the return. So let's do the word executor. E is the energy of man, yeah? Right, so E, X. X is earth. Energy of man on earth. T is the mark, right? Check, mark. T is the mark. EX, executor. EX, ECT. Fuck it. I can't, when I'm doing this, I can't think because I'm thinking of a pathology of things in a timeline. Yep. You get an EXEC. Executor. I can't. Yeah, anyway. So, E's energy man, X is earth, E's the energy man, EXE, C is the return, the boomerang, U is you, right? V is capitalised U, okay? There's you right there. So you can take the tail off, there's you, okay? So, and in Latin, V is capitalised U. And so there is you, right? So E, X is earth, E, energy man, C is the return, U is you, right? EXECUT, T is earth, right? T is the mark of man on earth, O is the I, right? And R is man, right? Now in the Phoenician, so this was all changed. When was all this changed? We wrote from right to left. When I hold a book in my left hand and I flick from the back of the book. That's what feels natural to me. My father was left-handed. He was flogged until he fucking wrote with his right hand. Now he can sign, not anymore. So this is Phoenician. This is pre-Hebrew. Hebrew is 800 years, right? That's when it changed, okay? The change was Hebrew, okay? This is when the change was, right? This is 800 years, 200 years before the Greek alphabet. So the money lenders in the temple, right? The money lenders in the temple, the lenders in the temple, the money lenders in the temple changed our writing system from right to left to left to right. And it was specifically at the time of Almighty Yeshua, who died on the cross, right? When he died on the cross, the right is right and the left is the debtor, right? The good thief was on the right, the bad thief was on the left. Well, you're not the thief, you're in the middle, right? Because you got 33 vertebrae, you're the creator. He said, I am within every one of you. God said, I created man of himself and the earth. That's why if you go and look up Robert Seifer's documentary, he talks about the Rh negative, the reptilian bloodline, the non-Darwinian bloodline, is said to have been intertwined with a primate. And Q signifies the monkey, because that's where the tail comes from, and that's why the word queen is spelt with a Q. Now if you go to the queen, back of the Queen's robe when she was getting coronated, you'll see Phoenician, you'll see Hebrew, you'll see Aramaic on the back of her cloak. You'll see Aramaic from this time on the back of her cloak, and she is signified as the monkey, because the monkey, right, the monkey was the integration between, or the primate was the integration between man, early man, and the Rh negative bloodline, which created what we are today, right? There hasn't been a protein in molecular physicists will tell you that proteins don't mutate, and they in the foreseeable time of time in existence, they said it's physically impossible for a protein to mutate in that time frame. So Darwin's theory is bullshit. We have something called the God gene. It's a splice in our helix. So there's actually like an overlap of a hem. So if you get cloth and you run it and you fold it, and you get another piece of cloth and you fold it, or you fold it up and over and inside, and then you stitch it one and stitch it two. It's called a hem. Well, there's a join in your DNA, and our DNA spells Y-A-H. That's why the yays have it and the nays don't, right? And that's the geometric atomic structure of your DNA, YAH. And YAHWAH, Yahweh, or YHWH, if you leave the vowels out, is said to be the Creator's DNA. So that's pretty much it. You've had your language taken away. You've had your freedom taken away. Now, I don't like calling myself free man, and this is the reason why. Okay, I don't call myself free man. It's just the name of the channel. A lot of people call me free man. It's not my name. My name's Josie or Joe or Gav. My name in Gaelic is Josie, Outlaw Josie Woods. My old man's mate, he was named Josie. Backtrack. Oh, I lost my train of thought. There you go. That's me. Fucking goldfish. 30-second rule. So you got this bullshit going on. You got this bullshit going on. You got this bullshit going on. Who's this champion? Oh, me. That's me on fucking BitChute. There you go. I've only got 2 clips up. One of them's shit. Don't bother looking at it. Don't look at the latest one. Don't look at this one. This is fixed wireless communication, 60 GHz, absorbed by oxygen. This is, look at this. Look at that. 2001. They've known about this shit since 2001. Look at the markets. Look at them. Military and defence, internet, 5G, medical, right? And you wonder why they're getting sick in the hospital as well? Because all the medical equipment runs on 5G fucking Wi-Fi. This is your bankruptcy, orchestrated by the king. This is the private land entity that created the ABR, which issued the number for the ATO, which issued the number to create Gov New South Wales, which issued the number to create New South Wales Police Force, which there's no certificate of proclamation for any of this. This seal here was created by King Edward the 5th or 7th, and he wasn't the king. Alright, so the ATO, Moloch V. Chapman, proves that there is no proclamation certificate for the creation of this. The king was not, the guy called himself king, wasn't coronated. Right, that also rules out the Deputy Tax Commissioner, rules out the ATO, rules out every statute since fucking 1931, basically. Oh, that's coincidence, 1931. The bankruptcy started in 1929, finished in 1933, and it's all related. Okay, I'm not a federal corporation, I'm not a vessel, I'm definitely not the public. I'm High Court of Australia is the judiciary. I can't say this often enough. Bankers are killing themselves. They're going missing, right? And your AFP police, they're dropping like flies. And Australian First Police officer died shockingly in similar circumstances to another 4 members who took their own lives in the workplace over the last 2 years. A man from Melbourne reportedly took his own life as a service weapon in Canberra motel room overnight while on a working trip to the capital. They probably going to the capital to expose something and they just started fucking knocking him off. It brings total number of AFP's officers died using firearms in 2017 to 5. Don't remember seeing this on news. An AFP spokesman told news.com to confirm the rumors. A brief coroner, so coroner's a fucking lawyer, right? So AFP providing support to members of the family. AFP responding, a man, news.com chose not to identify himself, was an air security officer, ASO, responsible for containment and resolution of high-risk security incidents on domestic and international flights. According to the AFP website, the man's purpose, 10 threats, hijack terrorism, extensively discipline, negotiate defence tactics, embattlement organisation, mental health following workplace suicide. Okay, so the embattlement organisation has made efforts to increase mental health support. I mean, why do you need mental health support? AFP, it's a fucking office job where you get to go to the gym every day and fucking grab people. Right, mental health support, spate of workplace suicides, grappled to, you don't have to shave your head, you're not out in the bush for 3 months fucking getting ridiculed or fucking getting flogged. Or in January, AFP Commissioner Andrew Colvin revealed a force was restricting its officers' access to firearms in direct response to suicides. Well, that's not fixing the problem. Anyway, so the clip I read before was, it was a lot. Have a look at it anyway. So, since Miss Jones' death, almost 100 AFP's whistleblowers have contacted the news, report several mismanagement, widespread mental health issues, disturbing internal bullying culture within the organisation, and they're all Freemasons. They're all Freemasons. They're all pedophiles, and they're all offshore entities, right? I've seen her face before somewhere. Obviously, fucking no one told her to ease up on the makeup, poor girl, but that's what happens. Just 6 weeks early, Superintendent Richard Roberts took his own life in the same place. I mean, this is in December last year. Samantha Baglin, 44, died mid-suicide in the vaults room at the AFP national headquarters. 2017, Malcolm Scott, 59, walked into the foyer of the organisation mental health officer, took his own life. That's pretty dramatic. I mean, if you're going to do it out in the open, why not fucking get it on the news, you know? Mr. Scott followed the colleagues. Sue, 53, mother of 2, died shockingly similar circumstances in the building. Now, basically, I feel sorry. These are people like anyone else. They just don't have a fucking clue what they're actually doing. And just like most of the New South Wales police, they don't realise they're working for a privately owned company based on bankruptcy. The amount of times, I'll go off topic for a second, the amount of times I've seen police pull people over and they'll sit with their car half on the shoulder and half on the lane. The amount of times these fuckers just stand, I've had them walk out in front and almost run them over. I've got no sympathy for these fuckwits. They do not use safety. They think they're above the laws of nature, the laws of physics and the laws of war, and they are going to get some fucking rude shocks. And that's why fucking, 3 of them died? South Australian police officer killed, and they literally have fucking this lowest IQ I've ever met of anyone. Doesn't matter how many. I walked in a Penrith police station and said section fuck off, section 184 of the Crimes Act, fraudulent impersonation, and he just smiles at me and he goes, that doesn't exist. I said, you can't take it off the statute books because you're a fucking privately owned company from America. You can't destroy the Commonwealth statutes. You can't take them off. And he didn't get that. He couldn't get the fact that there's a private company masquerading as government issuing ABNs and ABRs through an entity that the High Court said was illegal. They just won't get it. They're that fucking stupid. They are that fucking stupid, it's not funny. Right? And that's pretty much it. Anyway, so get rid of this. And that's pretty much it. A bit of a waffle. 18 hours and 16 minutes. Done.